Okay, we are here once again having fun and talking about cars. We're talking about the new Toyota Corolla Cross, which is a combination. Well, it's not a combination. What Toyota says is it's Corolla meets SUV. It's built on the TGNA platform, which has a lot of advantages, which we will see. It was a great car to drive. We spent a fair amount of time running the hybrid Corolla Cross fairly hard through lots of different surfaces. So we're going to be talking about that today. We spent 2 days with it. We are here with the C team, as usual. We are here with Nix, with Chris, with Gerard, and with Paolo. Everybody says hi. You look like a mother.
Hey guys.
Okay.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Okay, so how did we end up doing this? We've been looking at this car for quite a while. We are a big fan of the hybrid system. We actually think there should be far more hybrids on the road than there are. We were very happy when the Altis came in as a hybrid because we thought it was a great segue. Having said that, we think that the Corolla Cross is an even better segue. We actually like it. Okay, personally, they all have their own opinions. I have mine. I like it a lot. I think it is a car that can replace a lot of cars. It can replace the more luxurious sedans, not ultra luxurious, but the better sedans. It can replace small SUVs. It can be one car answer for your garage. It was a very interesting choice when Toyota decided to bring this in because there were some other sexier SUVs built on the same platform. We found, and they found, that this is probably the best one for our market and for most people. So having said all that, we will tell you, okay, this is one thing we have learned. You guys want to know about price more than anything else. So we're going to tell you straight on how much it costs.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the hybrid, okay, the G, which is a 1.8 liter inline four double overhead cam engine, all gas, comes in at 1.280. So 1.280,000.
1.285.
1.285.
Okay, I'm
1.25
correct.
mil. Yes.
Okay, and then
And the hybrid?
Hybrid comes in at what? Next.
1.6. Let it roll.
So you're still looking at my stuff.
1.650 million.
1.65. What this actually does is it kind of treats the car in two completely different ways, because at 1.285, if whatever it is, 1.28, it's going to go against actually things like the car we just tested, which was the 4 Territory, right? It's within striking range there.
Mhm.
And then
Yep.
at the hybrid, it's at 1.6. So it's going to be competing at a completely different class. This
That's
is
true.
really interesting. It's interesting, and it's we'll talk about the specs and so on, because the hybrid has all the really cool specs. It's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and all the other stuff. It's got lane assist and stuff. But both cars have the very key safety features like ABS, obviously, traction control, and so on, which we will get into later. So it's going to be really interesting where this car goes, and I would bet that this car is defined by the hybrid more than it's defined by just being the G gasoline engine. So there.
Yeah.
I'm handing off to the guys to give us their ideas. 'Cause Chris had some interesting points that I didn't.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, talking about the design and the platform, a lot of people are going to ask, is it a raised Corolla? The short answer is no, it's not. Although it does use the same platform, it uses Toyota's TN GAC platform, which is shared by the Corolla and the Prius and the CHR and the Lexus UX. But there are some differences that Toyota implemented here, like the torsion beam, for example, which is not found in our Altis. Toyota did this, I guess, for practical reasons. It is an SUV crossover. It is a crossover, and it makes more sense to use a torsion beam because it does use a lot less room. Gives a chance for the Toyota engineers to add more room to the cargo bay and the rear leg room also. Yeah, and
actually, that's what Nick was saying. Was that the legroom of this thing was surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
It
We
was.
can
It
show
was
photos if you want. Let's look
Yeah.
for it.
he was saying that, I mean, we were expecting a bit tighter, but it was actually, I mean, it wasn't super spacious, but it was not
Like-
limiting at all.
Yeah.
We'll just brief through it and then
Okay.
we'll proceed.
Yeah. Anyway, Chris,
Yeah.
my apologies.
And
You were
the
saying.
design-wise, design-wise, I like it. I like how the design looks. I think it's very modern. It's very sleek. And Toyota implemented a lot of interesting hidden Mickeys,
Yeah.
as you might
Yeah.
wanna call. It's there are a lot of design cues
In there.
that are very appealing. You'll see the double C's used on the side.
Here. So
Yeah,
1, 2.
and if you put them together, it forms a cross. How about
Yeah.
Yeah.
that?
But what I found there is that that double C cross thing.
Yeah,
It wasn't. It didn't feel like it was forced because its actual reason for being was that it helped the
yeah,
swells of the side of the car, and it actually, rather than being forced, it actually felt like it helped bring out those swells, which you don't really see flat on. You see at the side. You definitely see it if you're kind of facing straight on the side of the car, the front of the car towards the back. But on the sides, you kind of see it in the quarter view, and it kind of plays with the shape and the shadow and
yeah,
reflections. So in photos or in bad photos, it looks like just lines. But in good photos,
yeah.
it captures the right feel. It just shows that the
And the
car
right light.
kind of
Yeah,
it pops out. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't look as high tech as the CHR.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me look for the
it,
CHR photo for
the
reference.
CHR looks very space age, and it does look very cool, very futuristic, but it does have its
It's flaw.
drawbacks. It
Very
Yeah.
does
true.
have its yeah. It
Yeah,
does
yeah. I
having
guess.
a design like this does have its draws, and
Oh
Toyota knew
yeah.
that.
Mm,
Yeah. Well, the
Yeah.
CHR and Toyota admitted this, and even people who were sat in the car, like Nick's, said this. They said that it looks really cool, but from my point of view, I think it would age rather quickly. And from their point of view,
Yeah,
it isn't very big inside.
Yeah,
yeah.
like when you were testing it like in Singapore, so like that was the first time I saw the CHR, and like I was a big fan of it because look at it, looks really nice, right? And
Mm.
then when you drive it, it's nice. But then when we sat at the back, it was kind of claustrophobic because like you can see it from here, the window's really small, and you're pushed like far at the back, so it's like it it felt like you're like a little prisoner in the back. Like it was really
Yes.
claustrophobic.
So this is really cool. The CHR is really cool. It's more like a hot hatch rally car than anything else.
Yeah,
No question, the better choice for this for almost everybody is the Cross. Is the Corolla
It's
But you
Cross.
meant-
a
No
a
question.
wider audience.
You mentioned though, Chris, that it uses the same platform. Like
it
the
does.
Corolla,
Yeah,
the this one, the CHR, and the Cross use the same
yeah.
platform.
Mhm.
Okay, interesting.
So we talked about space and interior, but I mean, I spent about 2 to 5 minutes in the car. Carl spent most of the day in the car.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. 2 days. Yes, I did.
2 days.
It was fun. It was not. It was no. It was okay. Um, we say this. We use the term. We use the term Corolla simple, right? And that's not a bad thing. It was a. It. This isn't. We're going to compare this very directly to these Chinese cars that are coming in, and we do that because the China cars have to really punch above their weight to get attention. Um, to be able to, and they do a good job. Some of them do a very good job. What Toyota does is just they do everything in a very basic, simple
Yeah.
way. It's solid. It's reliable. As an example, the hybrid Corolla Cross has leather seats. They're not super sumptuous leather seats like you would get on a Lexus, but they're good, solid. I mean, they're going to be there for the next 10 years. That type
Yeah.
of a seat.
That I
Mm.
agree. That I agree. It's good
They're
leather.
not
Yeah.
they're not, and this actually leads to another point that we kind of got a bit of grief from Chris about, because he was saying, we're going to talk about it now, Chris. Haha. Chris was saying that
Here we go again.
if someone comes up to you, okay, no, it was a good point.
Yeah.
If you're a hardworking young man or woman and you're buying your first new car, where would you put your money? And there's a lot to be said for putting your money in a brand that you have a lot of faith in. And you gotta say that that's kind of where Toyota is, right?
Yeah.
So you're
Mm.
No doubt.
don't start off, and some people thought they could buy a Fiat Spider in college. That's really not a good idea. But I got this close. But if your first car is something like the Corolla Cross Hybrid, then you have this one foot in the past, one foot in the future. You're not going to have the world's funkiest dashboard. It's going to look like the Altus dashboard. It really is. But it's going to be the car you use to go on dates and drive up
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
chapel in and bring your kid home in. And
Exactly.
that's it.
Mm, reliable.
Yeah. So
It's
maybe
that
maybe
kind of
it's a
a car.
good thing. Yeah.
I mean,
It's
the
that kind
word
of a
is
car.
safe, right?
Yes.
Reliable.
the
without
word is
looking
safe.
Yeah, that's why we didn't want to
without being
necessarily
crazy.
say Corolla simple. It was more like Corolla stable.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
the car, and
No, it is simple. Like
Yeah.
there's not it doesn't exaggerate anything. And I think the best thing about this car, and if this is gonna be your first car, it might be
lucky
your
you.
yeah. Well, one, lucky you, and two, I think you're gonna be buying similar cars for a very long time. Like
Well,
it's
it's
gonna be hard
interesting.
to jump ship.
It's interesting
Like
you
in the
say that because the Vios is still the country's top selling car,
yeah.
No,
and
no.
it is that for a reason.
Yeah.
And Toyota's worked very hard over decades to work on that brand image of reliability and dependability, and it's true because their parts are affordable, and their service, their after sales service is fantastic, one of the best in the country.
That I'll say. That I'll say.
Yeah.
So they worked
Yeah.
very hard to get to that point. So for people to think that Toyota is safe and reliable and it's an ideal first car that you can depend on, I mean that's not by accident. Toyota
No,
has,
no,
has
no.
worked for that.
In the past kasi when you say Toyota, I hate to say this, but people would think it's safe, but it's not too exciting. But now, especially with this one, it looks pretty exciting. I mean, it's something that you won't be
Yeah.
ashamed of.
Yeah.
of
Let's go
having as your
inside the
first car,
let's go inside the
diba?
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when you say
there's a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
when you
you
say
can get a lot
simple,
out of it.
it doesn't mean bare.
Bare.
Not in this
Yeah, no,
case
no,
at
okay.
least.
No,
Dude, yeah,
okay.
that's a bit-
Not
As you
bare
can
at all.
see,
There's one point that I've been making in the last couple cars, Nix, that includes the One and the Territory and so on. And I really like the way they integrated the screen into the dashboard.
Yeah.
Those cars. So by nature, I have an issue with non-moving screens on cars. I
Like
don't
this.
necessarily like them. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Having okay, take apart whether it's a good screen or not. That's not it. To me, the
Yeah.
issue is
Yeah.
I just think it takes away from the beauty of the car.
Okay, but
okay.
this is what I'll take note though. Like with the One Series, the Territory, like this is sticking out, but at least like it's, if you can see it, it doesn't cover your line of sight.
Correct,
So-
correct. That's
Yeah.
the thing. And the other thing is that it's so large that yeah, you try and integrate that into a something that you can actually see. And the truth
Yeah.
is, with this and with CarPlay running and Waze running and it telling us where to find food, which it did, it, you're not going to get that good eyesight level with something that's so integrated. If you integrated it in a shape like this, it would be so far forward it'd be hard to see, or it'd be so low that you'd have to take your eyes off the road.
Yeah.
So this,
Yeah,
Okay,
no, but
argue- I mean,
this one, I think they were thinking more of like more on a global scale of replacing it, and
that's true too. Yeah, and if you look at how it connects,
Yeah.
you can really see why physically it's a good choice.
Mhm.
It's something you can go in and out. Looks like it can go in and out quickly.
Yeah,
Fit.
after spending so much time in the car, do you still feel that way?
About what? About about
About
it
the
not
screen.
being-
the
Oh,
screen.
About the screen.
okay, I like this. I ended up liking the screen. I like the touch buttons. I liked all the little stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
But
here's okay. I never really cared for screens. I didn't really like them that much. Then I was, and what really keyed me off was okay, when I tested the Bentley Continental GT, and it had moving.
flips.
It had it had a screen that would flip in the three different setups, and we were being driven through back roads of Australia in one of the cars, and all of it was suddenly it was dark, and we're not used to being in dark cars anymore. We're used to having a big screen up there, and yet the car was dark. And like, wow, we forget how nice and pleasant it is to drive at night in a dark car, and it's just nice. It's relaxing. It's completely
Yeah.
different when that screen is there.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, I asked the Bentley guys are saying, we're saying, okay, how is this going to age? And I was like, okay, what are you going to do? I mean, how can this compare 50 years down the line at Pebble Beach with a screen? You know, how is that going to be beautiful? He goes like, yeah, that's our problem. How do we make something that beautiful last that long? I said, do you have to? Like, yes, we have to take that into account. So some people don't take that into account, right? Some people have to. So
Yeah,
I guess
think
the
Toyota,
result is, you know, I mean,
We-
it's not like we're going to have this Corolla Cross to be in a design studio 100 years from now. Probably not. Not like having a NA.
Then again, we're talking about a completely different target market.
I know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
okay, but then
but you
having
never
said
know. The
it
Toyota
integrated
Who
into
knows?
the 1 Series and it integrated
Yeah,
into
who
the
knows?
Ford.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
integrated it, so it'll come down to that.
That's
Anyway,
true.
sorry, okay.
But I saw,
But
but when
what-
I saw Carl, like when he first saw the screen, he was a bit worried about the size of the screen. I saw it in his eyes. He was like, huh. But
Yeah,
later
well,
on, he like when he noticed that it wasn't getting on his line of sight, it was like, okay, like
Yeah, it's workable. It's workable. It's a
I
workable
actually-
solution for that car.
I'm with the camp that loves giant screens in their cars.
I love giant screens. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I live
okay.
for them.
Let the millennial speak his mind.
yes.
Yeah,
So, like,
Paulo, what do you think?
We've talked about
He
the-
who couldn't set up Android. What do you think?
Whoa,
and now I'll be
whoa.
talking about it. Yeah.
Ooh.
So I'll be talking about the safety features and the convenience features on the car. So let's talk about the differences and the similarities between both variants. Both variants of the Corolla Cross have both smart entry system and push start buttons.
Okay.
And then, and then there's a difference in the air conditioning systems. So for the gasoline engine, for the G variant, it's an automatic climate control. But for the
okay.
hybrid variant, it has dual automatic climate control.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
hybrid, you can split it passengers,
Yeah.
and then the regular one, it's just
Just a
everyone for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, one quick
And then
note. You know
more
what I really
differences-
liked?
Oh, sorry.
I really like the
What?
fact that you had knobs on the air conditioning. I didn't have to
Ah,
go
yes.
into
Okay.
I didn't have to go into the system to figure out the air
Very-
conditioning. It was just
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah,
quick.
actually, like I always appreciate having those, even in modern cars.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to like the climate control, I just wanna get it over with. I just wanna change it already. I don't wanna have to touch buttons and
Corolla
like,
simple for you.
go to different screens.
Yeah.
Not just that. I mean, it has tactile knobs for the volume as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Oh,
does.
Volume and the
Yeah.
and the
Yeah,
radio
that's cool.
tuning.
And I was going to
Yeah.
that, although and this happens if you depends on how long you've driven Toyotas. Sometimes they're in different places. So you're used to having the volume on
Yeah.
the left. Here the volume's on the right.
Yeah.
So I kept switching screens when I wanted to make the volume.
Yeah, here, this one. This is the volume.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
I've noticed
and,
that.
and we
Yeah.
used to attribute that to the fact that these are made for people who drive on the other side of their other car.
That's a
Yeah.
But-
very interesting observation. Yeah.
Android
Yes.
Auto and Apple CarPlay finally.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wired,
Finally, it's
wired,
Wired, yeah.
wired.
Yeah.
wired.
You have to use your cable.
No, but apparently there's some Apple CarPlays you can connect wirelessly, Chris.
Yeah,
First-
for the
first thing.
territory last time, Carl was able to connect his iPhone without a cord.
But he had to
Meanwhile,
connect
for-
Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, in my
Yes,
case,
correct.
I have an Android, so I had to use a cable. So
Yeah.
it differs per system.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fact that it's there is
Yeah,
is a
it-
good thing.
Correct.
It's actually a
Yes.
non-issue to me that you have to
Yeah.
plug it in because if it wasn't running by power by Wi-Fi and Bluetooth at the same time, you'd have to plug it in to survive anyway. So
Sorry.
the wired part of
Right.
it is a non-issue,
Very
especially
true.
since you can do so much on screen already on that big screen. Yeah, okay.
But yeah,
Yeah. Aside from that, the hybrid also has rear AC vents and cruise control, while the G variant doesn't have it. So since it has the rear AC vents for the hybrid, there's also an extra USB
Plug.
plug
Socket.
for the rear
Port.
passengers. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So moving on to the safety part, which things get interesting. The Corolla Cross is actually the fifth model in Toyota Motor Philippines lineup that makes use of the Toyota Safety Sense.
Oh,
So
okay.
first,
Okay.
there's the High A Super Gandia,
Mm-hmm.
the Corolla Altis Hybrid, the Alphard, and um, one more is the Prius. So this is the fifth one. So that under this technology, under this development, the Corolla Cross Hybrid has pre-collision system, automatic high beam, lane tracing assist, lane departure alert, and adaptive cruise control.
Okay.
So aside from that, it also has the blind spot monitor and rear cross traffic alert. So this last feature helps drivers detect other vehicles, whether it's in front or in the rear. Um, these help you look at spots that you don't normally see with
Yeah.
your rear view mirrors and your side
Mm.
mirrors.
That's
That's
So
cool.
it
Thankfully, Carl never had to test that out.
yeah. So it alerts the driver whether visually or through audio signals. So
Okay.
this is something you see only in the hybrid version.
What else are the differences between the two variants?
In terms of
Um, yeah.
go ahead.
No, no, go
Yeah.
ahead, Jared. You were
Yeah,
Jared,
saying.
okay.
Go with Jared.
Okay, sorry. In terms of amenities and if you want leather and all the trimmings with digital dashboard, you have to pay extra for the hybrid. But also you do get LED headlamps and chrome on
Yeah.
certain parts of the exterior. Yeah. And of course, the biggest difference is the engine, which
Yeah.
uses the Toyota hybrid
Because
system.
we're talking
Yeah,
about a difference of about
around
400,000 pesos, right?
400,000.
yeah.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do get the hybrid system. So if that
Yeah.
really make it for me, it should make a lot of sense because, well, I guess you're making a statement that you, as Carl said earlier, you're looking to the past and the future. So and it's combined with the Corolla name, which has been around for what, almost half a decade or so or
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
So
It's it's a
it,
nameplate that
yes,
Filipinos
it
have
Yeah.
is.
grown to love.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct, correct. Filipinos would think Corolla, and okay, sige, admittedly, there might be some resistance to it, like, oh, isn't the Corolla supposed to be a sedan or a two-door hatch or something? But no, I guess the SUV is the crossover, rather. It's the way to go.
Yeah.
So with it, I guess the Corolla is really looking into the future while still being, as we agreed, Corolla simple, Corolla
Yeah.
reliable.
What
Yeah,
kind
I
of
diba?
good what kind of customer would get the hybrid variant over
Oh
the
yeah.
non-hybrid
I
variant?
guess yeah, someone who really knows what the Toyota's hybrid technology is all about. That it's just not just about not just about saving gas in emissions, but about really looking to, because this is the future na eh. Nowadays we're seeing all of these
Yeah.
electric cars and stuff, but it's for those people who aren't ready to go fully electric just yet, but want to. Plus, they have the Corolla
Yeah.
cachet, as they say. So
yeah, that
parang,
is
oh,
important role.
For sure.
yeah. So parang their assurance na,
Yeah.
sige,
I'm sure.
I'll get this na. So I'm sure that I'll get the Toyota reliability. And it's a Corolla.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, diba? I
I'm
mean,
sure a lot of people are going to be very hesitant to get into this
correct,
electric
correct.
generation or this
Yes, they
hybrid
are.
generation
They
because
are. I
they're
have
they're
friends
talking
who
about
are,
batteries and
yes,
costs and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
correct,
Yeah,
correct.
but that's
But
the thing.
again,
That
this is a Toyota.
This
it's
is
a
the perfect
non-issue here.
bridge.
It's a
Yeah.
Yeah.
complete
Well,
non-issue.
Definitely.
It doesn't affect
for
you
us,
in any way.
No,
uh,
in our market, no. But for those people, there are people who like that. That they really wanna get into it, but they're still scared. Parang but this one, it's a Toyota, it's a Corolla. So what more can they ask for? So, I mean, I'm sorry, we keep reiterating that, but that's the
Yeah.
truth, diba? I
Yeah.
mean,
And it's
that's
not
how
it's
it is.
not actually that far from the actual Corolla Altis
Correct,
hybrid.
correct.
No,
Yeah,
that's
Price
surprising.
yeah.
wise, yeah.
That's
Actually,
actually surprising.
That's the interesting point. Yeah.
actually perform almost exactly the same. They have
mm-hmm.
like the same, and they have the same total system
Same
output.
engine,
Yeah, same engine.
same platform, and I guess
Yeah.
even the feel is pretty much the same.
Oh, your mic, your mic.
Yeah.
No, but okay. So going to the hybrid system. So the Toyota Corolla Cross uses a power split or a series parallel hybrid system where
Yep. Yep.
the 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 internal combustion engine and then the electric motor can switch really easily.
Between, yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
so
it's
yun. So
seamless.
yeah,
It's
and yeah,
like,
in
it's the
testing it
best
was
of
really
both worlds, eh.
seamless. Mm.
Na ano eh.
Yeah.
Yun. So, I think talagang that's a typical customer wants. And of course,
Uh,
someone who's looking for an SUV again, but all this time they have the option of, I guess, going green, if you will, because
yeah,
yun, di ba?
because
Well,
when we drove the Corolla Altis hybrid, me, Chris
Mm,
Paolo, we drove it to Tagaytay and back. Like
yep.
it was when we were experiencing traffic that we got to see the electric motor really put the work.
Yeah, that's when you see the
Oh yeah.
benefits.
Yeah,
yeah,
actually
Yeah,
yeah.
with
Stuck in
Toyota,
traffic and you still get about 21 kilometers per liter.
that's
I
crazy.
mean,
yeah,
how can you
Which is something
complain?
Yeah,
yeah.
which is
you know what
something you'll
blew us away
experience a
about this
lot
car?
on our roads.
What really got to us was it just sat there for so long on.
Yeah,
It
And
was
it's
on,
ano,
Yeah.
no?
and we're sitting there for
Yeah.
30 minutes talking and getting things ready, and then we go in like, and it's cold, like it's been on the whole time.
No, my
And so this
sister,
would
that
sit for 30
quiet.
minutes.
yeah.
It's not like the old hybrids where the engine would
Mm-hmm.
have to kick in a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Cool.
And that's where, people, yeah, efficiency, okay, but to me, what's the draw of this car is just the smoothness, the quiet.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
like the
really
old
quiet.
Priuses. It's not like the old Prius variants
Yeah.
where you really felt, you know, you were paying for that efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the case now. This is 1.8 liter engine.
No, and
Yeah.
the price is just right. I mean, seriously,
Yeah,
for that
But
price, you're getting a hybrid. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, value wise,
For
it's
sure.
and for a Toyota to
Mm,
boot, it's
correct,
pretty impressive that they got it
correct.
down to this price range.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
But
that with loaded with that tech.
you're
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
you're
the
Yeah.
right.
Toyota safety sense and all
Yep.
the
Yep.
technology
No, it was
Correct.
cool.
Correct.
It
Yeah,
was cool.
and
convenience. Yeah.
then you know what? Number one for me, it's a
Mm.
really practical car. Can
Oh
you
yeah.
share the
Oh,
screen,
for
Carl?
sure, no
The
doubt.
Like, look
screen.
at this.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the back of this car. Like okay, like given it's not flat, like
Okay,
a
you're not up.
flatbed.
Oh yeah, with
Let me
that's good.
Yeah,
share screen.
yeah. That's the one thing. We were saying that it's not a full fold flat
Flat
Yeah,
rear, so
here.
that
floor.
might be an
I
issue.
had to
Yeah.
get it in this angle just to show like it. It's not
Yeah,
exactly a flatbed, so like there's like this slope over
Yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
But other than that, like you can put like a bike here. You can put like a lot of cargo
Oh
here.
yeah, still
So
yeah.
very much usable space.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like for me, it's really amazing that they're able to have like such a practical car in like many aspects of what it takes to be a car. So not only is it
Mm.
efficient, practical na efficient, it's also practical in terms of storage and even the back seat is roomy.
So yeah,
Like
I
the
guess
Corolla
it
Altis.
can be your one car fits all sort of
Yeah.
Definitely.
But
Yeah.
performance wise, Nick, how do the two variants differ?
Um
Performance
yeah.
wise,
Oh yeah.
so you have two different engines, so but they're
Well,
similar.
two different power plants.
Power
Yeah,
plant.
so they're both 1.8 liters. But the hybrid is the 2ZR FXE,
FXE.
and then
Yes.
the gasoline only, is the 2ZR FE. And like if you look at the numbers, the combustion engine alone on the G variant is 140 horsepower total system, so it's only a gas engine, 140
Mm.
brake horsepower, while the hybrid one is 121. So
Combined.
combined,
Combined.
yeah,
Combined.
combined total
But
system output.
you do get the torque of the electric engine. So
Yeah, that's the thing though. This is like one of
Yeah,
those cases where numbers are not everything.
mm,
Yeah.
yep.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
I mean, and we asked them that because like, is this a typo or is this accurate? And I said, no, it's skewed that way. Maybe because
Instantaneous
okay, what
torque.
they explained was
Yeah.
they were really aiming for smoothness, which you really
Yep.
do get between that and the CVT transmission
Yeah.
being
Mhm.
able to handle it all.
CVT. Yeah.
You really get a smooth drive.
Yeah.
You get a smooth application of power. It's quiet. It's pleasant.
yeah.
Mhm.
It really relies on the electric motor, because that's the biggest disadvantage of combustion engines versus an electric motor. For the
Oh yeah.
combustion engine to break inertia, it's like around 100 or like more than 100 parts that have to work
Move.
Yeah.
before the
Yeah.
car starts rolling. The electric
Correct.
motors, 10 less parts for it to start rolling. And
I think
with
just
electric
10.
motors, they have a lot of torque in them. So that's
Mm.
why this is the Corolla Cross Hybrid. If you really want the smooth experience, dare I say Lexus, sort of Lexus feel
Oh,
in terms
okay.
of drive, you
Speaking of
might
the
want to look at
engine,
the hybrid. Mm.
speaking of the engine, Nick, if you got a shot of the actual engine bay,
Oh,
because what was
okay.
cool was we actually saw an engine. We didn't see a big cover with
Yeah.
branding that
Yeah.
says
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
Well,
whatever
look
it,
for
yeah.
people
it.
put on it.
It's
We
a,
actually
it's really
saw
a
an engine.
bridge into
Yeah,
yeah.
we
Okay.
saw the engine so well that we were discussing what material the top cover was versus the rest of it because it was, it was a really nice flat black.
Here,
I mean, it's
here,
what I would
Kevin.
do on my. It was what I did on my old Toyota Corona when I tuned it and drove it to school.
First and foremost, the
You have
pink.
a wrinkle finish
pink
top, you have
Yeah.
aluminum side.
I
Very
First
guess
and
good.
as
foremost,
well
pink coolant, guys. That's Toyota.
as
Pink
well as
Pink
for
coolant.
most
coolants.
guys, hey, there's still an engine in there. So
Yeah, but no engine
yeah.
cover. I like it as well.
Yes, it was nice. It was nice to see that. Given that
Mm-hmm.
we've recently had discussions with people on how they badge their cars
Yeah.
and what they call them and where they come from. It was really nice to see this clean, honest engine bay. Seriously,
Yeah.
as a car
And
dealer, it was great.
122 total, 122 PS or maybe 121
Brake
horsepower.
horsepower. Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's slow. It didn't
No,
look
not at
slow.
all.
Oh,
Car still had a lot of fun with it.
I had
I mean-
fun. I had,
no.
and I had
But
fun in surprising. It was surprising because, we roll onto it, and it's as expected in some ways, but it is electric. It's got an electric motor, so it comes on. The power comes on smoothly. Um, what I was expecting that. What I was not expecting was how well the car actually
yeah.
handled and how
Mhm.
consistently it handled. We started doing our usual hard left, hard right, hard
Here.
left to see what
Yep.
would happen. The
Sharing it on
car,
the screen.
yeah, we had a lot of fun. We really had a lot of
You
fun.
know,
with this
you
car.
can see Carl's there, that little smirk over there.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And we were doing, and okay, this is to me the key point of this car. I had to do repeated hard acceleration, hard braking, hard turn, hard acceleration again
Yeah.
to smooth out a corner.
Mm.
And the car was so consistent that I was deciding, am I going to clip that at the very end or clip that at the other end? I mean, I was smoothing. If you know
Yeah.
the whole racing lingo thing,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
straighten out the corner,
Yeah.
and it was that consistent. It was, and that's not easy to do. It's really,
Yeah.
really not. We've tested some cars on the track with way more power than other cars. They just can't keep up because they cannot consistently deliver the same level of performance.
Yeah.
This car did. It did it
Yeah.
extremely well.
And it's a
and that
crossover.
tells you that it is over-engineered
Yeah.
Yeah.
to a point where you can expect. I mean, and okay, again, and we had this discussion a year and a half ago because people weren't paying attention to the safety features of cars. So we tried to tip over a Altis or Vios or something.
Vios.
Oh,
And-
Vios,
Yeah.
Vios.
yeah, and the point
Yeah.
being that these safety features are needed, and modern design is just way better than it was before. Same thing with this car. It's just this when we do these little hard left, hard right, hard left. What we're trying to see is whether the car will start bouncing or whether you suddenly have to make multiple corrections to keep it going, because nowadays you're not getting accidents as much by you plowing into the back of a bus, because if you hit the brakes hard enough, the car will stop. You get accidents because you've done that, and then the car freaks out, and then the back starts swaying. So, in our minds, this is a key point to keeping people alive. And we ran this car through it. The car was so stable. We were going around, sweeping corners, increasing speed, moving the wheel back and forth. It would never do this bouncing. It would always be stable. It would always.
Yeah.
And
And you can tell while we were shooting, with every lap that you did, we could see you getting more and more confident. And I think
I know,
that's a great thing. I mean, if
Confidence
the
It is.
system is as confidence inspiring. I mean,
It was completely. I could be. And okay. In terms of where on a racetrack I'm comfortable, I'm not comfortable in hairpins. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm really not. I'm not comfortable in a hairpin that will get me to. Okay, that's not this. That's the old.
Yeah.
That's the
No,
old
no, but
testing.
From
Okay.
last
yeah.
year, yeah.
No, that's what we
Yeah.
were discussing
So-
a while ago. But anyway,
yeah.
okay, I'm not comfortable
Just
in
showing-
hairpins.
just
I don't
showing-
do them that well because you need to pitch the car, and you need to really, really understand the weight shift of the car,
yeah.
and
There we
that
go.
can change.
Mm.
And this car was just consistent.
It
So-
was. I mean, at least from the outside, when me and Chris were taking photos.
I could, dude. I was telling you, I could. I was like, I'm gonna clip that piece of plastic just so I can do it. I was like, I'm gonna get in so much trouble if I do this, but I really, really want to do it.
Me and Chris were like, who'll give up first, the car or the man?
Nah.
Nah.
But I was telling people to move already. So I was
Yeah,
like, you
That's
might
right.
think I'm not gonna go there, but I'm gonna go there, so you might want to move. Nah, it was. I mean, if this is the way modern cars are, as much as we like how old cars and old Lotuses and old whatever handled, modern technology is just
yeah.
way
Yeah.
better. It's
So
just
we
way
did-
better.
We didn't get a chance to drive the non-hybrid version, but it would be interesting to
Yeah,
see
I
how
want
they
Yeah,
compare.
different, no?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
But
I-
as it
I
is, the
would go
hybrid
hybrid.
version is already it's impressive. Yeah.
I would go high. I would. The hybrid's the car for me. The hybrid's the
Yeah,
car.
but like what you said a while ago, like it is priced so separately. They really
Yeah.
hit different
Two
echelons.
different, yeah, two
Exactly,
different segments.
yeah.
Oh.
yeah, but that I mean,
Yeah.
Toyota kind of does that, right? I mean, you can get
Oh, yeah.
a high level
Oh, yeah.
Altis or a low level Camry
Even
within
the Vios,
striking
I mean,
distance.
Yeah,
right?
they're like rubbing each other's shoulders
So
already.
it's very similar. What I think what this allows them to do is they're making the statement, and a very
Yes.
appropriate statement. They're making the statement that yes, these hybrids, the way we make them, are premium products.
Mhm.
So I got a
Understand that.
question. Like like so some will probably ask, is it worth jumping from the G model all the way to the, if you're looking for practicality, should you get the G or should you really aim for the hybrid?
You know,
Well, I
interestingly enough, if for
Depends.
most other cars, I tend to say always look at the lower one and see what you really, really need. I mean, do you need a funkier dashboard? Do you need this? Do you need that? That's the reverse in this car. In this car, I would say, yeah, you need the hybrid, no question.
So well equipped. Like what I told Carl, like we were taking photos and everything, and then we were looking at all the specs. I was like, this should be the flagship of
Yeah, I said
Toyota.
that, and he made a comment that kind of nailed Chris again, right? This is a car that Chris would actually buy. So,
The car, Toyota Chris would actually buy.
yeah, no,
I
but
did say that.
the thing is,
Yeah.
and we made this point repeatedly, is that their cars sell without all this other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
they sell that way for a reason. So having said that, I mean, I was saying I don't feel shortchanged in that car at all.
I do want to see the G variant though. I'm really curious.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
I mean, they're interesting. Like the dash, and this is where it's interesting. The dash for the G is all analog,
All analog.
Right.
Yes.
whereas the
Correct.
which I'm a
dash for
fan
the
of. Which I'm a fan of.
yeah, but it makes you kind of wonder where are the cost savings at this point.
Mm.
You know, I mean, what's the cost saving?
Well, it doesn't
mechanical
have
piece
leather. It
versus-
doesn't have. It doesn't have.
Yeah, it doesn't have leather. It has
display,
cloth, which you didn't
also-
see,
It's like
so we can't
halogen
assess.
headlamp.
Oh, the
different-
headlamps, correct.
No hybrid.
Oh.
It has a different display
Yes.
Yeah.
because the
yeah,
hybrid
yeah.
version has an 8-inch display, and the
Yeah.
G variant only has a 6.8.
Yeah,
But
it'll actually be interesting. I wonder if I'd like this. We should actually, we should compare the two displays
Compare.
because it might be that the other display is more in line with what I would think, but in reality, I now would go
I-
with the newer one.
Looking at the specs, it's a 6.8 display
6.8,
screen
yeah.
with T-Link. So you can connect
Yeah.
both Apple and Android,
Yeah.
which means this is probably like the one from the Vios.
Yeah, that's the standard Toyota
Yeah.
equipment.
Mhm.
The T-Link.
Yeah.
So you can link it, but it doesn't have the full Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
No,
No.
It's a mirror. It mirrors your display.
Phone.
It mirrors your
Yeah.
phone.
You know
So-
that's interesting because I thought before that's all you needed. I'd rather just mirror my display. I've
No.
kind of converted.
Yeah, Chris.
It's
Chris,
different.
It's Chris. It's
I thought Paulo's going like, yes, I won.
It's good.
Chris is the
It's
one.
a
Chris is the
completely
one who was
different-
listening.
Initially,
Yeah,
Chris.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris
But
is the one who, the influencer of the
yeah.
Android Auto.
Although you guys realize that a lot of comparisons are going to be made between the territory and
Oh yeah,
the lower
the
variant
G, the G
Yeah. Oh
variant.
yeah.
Oh
cross.
Yeah,
yeah, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should get them both and test them out.
That would
Save
be
that for
fun.
another
Why not?
day.
Yeah.
Why
No,
not?
but okay. Well, I guess there's well, then this goes back to Chris's point of where would you put your hard-earned money your very first time. And we were very positive about the territory in a lot of ways. We pointed out the issues we didn't like, the transmission and something else, but it's a different feel, and you're gonna see, we like the way the territory did its multi-color, multi-material dashboard and so on. We actually liked it, but you know, I don't know. I don't know where I would go. I'd have to really check
Yeah.
the current G model.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
see.
what's tricky is that like when you look at like let's say the whole like all the trims of like one model, it'll be all mechanically the same. That all it's just more of additional, so it's easy to gauge from one car like would you go for this or for that. For the Corolla Cross, it's like they're two different
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
They're,
Two
they're too
different
different.
Well,
worlds.
there's
Oh
a
yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
point that people make that we don't always see. We always look at this in terms of how much the car costs. We don't look at it in terms of how the way most people buy these cars would look, which is what is my monthly payment on it. And if you look at 400,000 from 1.2 is 30%, right? Roughly
Yeah,
20-30%.
roughly.
What would that mean to your uh, monthly payments? What would that mean to your insurance? And I would bet that it might be the G that gets people into the door, and it might be that they will drive out with the hybrid. And I think they should, honestly.
That's a
I
fair
think they-
assessment. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think
that's
they
good.
should move out
I
with that
agree.
hybrid. I think his hybrid should do
Yeah.
way better. I think
Yeah.
we need to get more people in these cars to understand how simple they are to live with, but how much you get in return.
Yeah, and you know the
Mhm.
fact that the battery's also nickel metal hydride. I think if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's not lithium. It's nickel metal hydride. That it's easier maintenance.
Mm.
Like it'll last way longer than the lithium.
I
Lithiums
think
have to be
It
replaced.
already lasts for around
yeah.
8 to
I
10
think
years.
yeah. That's the concern of many Filipino consumers is the maintenance of a hybrid model.
Yeah,
No, no. I don't
but
think so because my sister owns a hybrid in the US and it's pretty much standard fare.
Yeah.
yeah, no. But in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
I
US,
mean, in the
Yeah.
here
US, but I'm talking
locally,
about
locally,
people
Here,
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Maybe that's our fault because we're not pushing them enough.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, it's not our job to be a champion for one thing or another. We're supposed to be,
yeah,
we're supposed to be
yeah,
as fair to everyone. But the truth is
Yeah.
that this is where a lot of the world is going. This would solve a lot of our problems. I don't see a lot of maintenance negatives on these cars. And we think, yeah, we have to replace a battery in 8 years, 10 years. People don't keep cars the way we car
Not
geeks.
as long as we used to before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be. They're meant to be biodegradable. They're meant to have far more environmentally friendly materials, which by nature will tend to decay more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So,
But as long as you keep good connection with your casa, you know the after sales, like
Yeah.
I think it should be fine, and I know that the pricing will be reasonable.
yeah.
Mm.
What
For the
I
tech
liked about
yeah.
this car, the end result of all this, what I liked about this car was that I wasn't it in the Prius. You sacrificed uh, some fun, honestly. You gave up the fun, but you got peace and quiet. You didn't get a lot of power. This car, I don't feel like I'm giving anything up.
No, that's
It's and yet it also, given the way we drove it, they clearly are still keeping in mind the fact that these things can be fun.
yeah.
You know, it's
You had
it's
fun.
I had I had so much fun, but it wasn't. It's. I mean, remember, Toyota's been on this kick for a while, saying, we're going to put fun back into driving. We kind of forgot about it,
Oh yeah.
and they're doing it. It's not flashy. This is
Right.
not a super flashy car,
Mhm.
but it can hold its own, and it was a very, very pleasant experience to drive. It was fun when you wanted it to be. It was calm and relaxed when you wanted it to be. I really, really hope more of these things are on the road, because I think people will like them a whole lot more than they expected.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
So there.
and the prices being competitive. Let's see
Yeah.
like how the competition
Yeah.
goes.
So we started early this time by telling people how much it cost ahead of time. So I hope anybody still listened. But just to be clear, yeah, it's
Down below.
1.650 for the hybrid we like.
And 1.285 for like
285.
the G
The G
variant.
variant. Yes.
For those who
Okay.
want like who are on the budget or who are not yet comfortable going to hybrid.
Yeah, I get comfortable. It's a good idea.
Yeah,
So,
I'd say it. I'd say that as well.
yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone. We had fun. We almost got rained out, in case anyone noticed.
Yeah.
You could see where in Metro Manila the rain was going, because it started with me, and then we started
And
hearing
it's-
it elsewhere. So
Yep.
if you ever see this and we cut out, it's not our fault. So thank you very, very much. We've got Nix, we've got Chris, we've got Gerard, we've got Paulo,
Bye,
we've got
guys.
me. So thank you very much for joining
Thanks,
us.
guys, for
We
watching.
will see you
Bye,
around.
guys.
Thank
See you
you.
in the next one.
Bye.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.